I'ma catch a flight.
Hey everyone, Chaz here, your host of A Cool Glass of Water. It's the podcast's very first episode, and I'm really excited to get this going. That intro music was Trell Dope, dude I went to high school with, doing his thing in music. You can find him at soundcloud.com/TrellDope. What I'd like to do for every show is to kind of promote and showcase a local or an underground artist. So if you'd like to have your music on my show, hit me up at coolglassofwaterpodcast@gmail.com. So I just want to talk about the main theme of what this podcast is going to be, at least starting off. It's going to be a newcomer's experience as a stand-up comic. It's a podcast where the host of the show is learning right along with the listeners. I'm not an expert in stand-up comedy. I'm like a kindergartner on his first day of school in his brand new clothes, got a Ninja Turtles backpack. I'm standing outside the school. Mom's taking those embarrassing first day of school pictures, and I'm just ready to get in there, eager to learn and soak it all in. Now, the podcast, got its name, Cool Glass of Water, and it's basically a really simple story. I had a glass of water, and the ice had melted into what it looked like a smiling cool face, and I just took the picture. And this was this picture was taken like 2 years ago, and I was scrolling through some of my pictures to try to figure out the thumbnail for the podcast, and I came across that picture, and I just went with it. I called it a Cool Glass of Water, and that's what it is. I've always loved making people laugh. This is why I want to do comedy, is I've always loved to make people laugh, and I feel like if you're laughing, you're having a better day. And by the way, I want to talk about something. I believe in the sympathy laugh. I really do. And the reason I believe it, if somebody is making a joke or doing something stupid just to try to get you to laugh or smile at least, I believe in giving them a little something instead of, nothing, because they're taking their time out of their day. They're making an effort to try to make your day better. So I believe in the sympathy laugh. I promote the sympathy laugh. People give the sympathy laugh. The joke could be the worst joke in the world, but they're trying for you. So that's how I feel about that. Now, my cousin James, he was kind of like my inspiration to get into this, because he shares my passion for making people laugh as well. And so he calls me one day and he says, I want to be a stand-up comedian. I'm like, right on, man. And then he asked me, he wants me to write some jokes for him. So I said, absolutely, I'll write some jokes for you. So I started writing them, sending him my stuff. He was digging it, but it wasn't his style. He was trying to go a different direction with it, which is fine. So he had his first show, and he killed it. He absolutely killed it. Check him out at facebook.com/JamesDavisComedian. Check him out right there. He's got his video of his first set up there, and it's some funny shit, so check it out. But that first bit that he did, that inspired me to try out my own material, so I booked my first show. It was at the Comedy Spot in Scottsdale, Arizona. It was an open mic. It was a 5-minute bit. So the week leading up to the show, I had written the bit, and I'm just rehearsing, trying to get this joke down pat. You got to know your material. And the bit is based on a true story. My mom, she was in the drive-thru of a McDonald's. She was ordering some chicken nuggets, and she was trying to get honey mustard dipping sauce, but she kept saying money mustard, and she kept saying it over and over again. And then finally, she moved herself out of the car, half of her body, and grabbed the freaking speaker box, and finally, with every effort in her brain power, said honey mustard. And then I changed the bit into she was a demon, and the car was starting to freak out with all those in those movies how the shit starts going crazy, the doors start locking and unlocking, the stereo's going through all the radio stations, and then it finally stops at that creepy song from that movie Insidious, that tiptoe through the window, that song. It was a silly bit, and it was fun to do, but it was kind of out there, but whatever. But the mandatory attendance that the comics had to bring was 3 to 5 people. and I invited like 12, I think, So the night of the show, I'm running through my material one more time. I make my way down to the comedy spot, which, by the way, that's a great place. It's a really cool place. The staff is really supportive and fun and helpful. Seats maybe 100. I'm not too sure, but it's just a really cool place. Really cool vibes. Kind of a low key type of place. Really really nice. But for the night of the show, the doors open at 6 p.m. and the show starts at 7 p.m. And I'm all excited. I'm ready to go. And I'm thinking, I got to get there early. So I show up at like 5:50 p.m. And they unlock the doors at 6. And I'm like the only person there for like 45 fucking minutes. I'm just sitting there waiting. I had a couple beers. And some of the workers are like, hey, what's going on? Who are you here to see? And I tell them it's me. I'm not here to see me. I'm one of the comics. I got here early. And they're like, cool, no problem. So, but that got me nervous, just sitting there waiting for like 45 minutes by myself, got me nervous. I'm looking at the stage. The stage is like 5 feet by 6 feet. I'm thinking, I was like, okay, my bit is it's a little jumpy around, physically, not a lot of room up there. That's cool. So 6:50 rolls around. And people start rolling in, but not one person that I invited. And I'm like, okay. And then 6:55, they tell the comics to go back in the green room, which is where just the comics for the show would wait. And we got our order. There was 12 comics this night. And I got picked 6, which I was pretty happy with. I'm right in the middle of the show. So I could kind of gauge the crowd, see how other comics were doing, and see where to go, what might work and what might not work in my bit. So, but 7 p.m. rolls around, and I look out in the crowd, I take a peek, and I still don't see anyone that I asked to come. I hadn't gotten any text to anybody saying I'm here, which actually kind of pissed me off, because I was telling people about this bit, or this show, for a while, and I was all excited, and all I needed was 3 to 5 people, and I couldn't get one fucking person. But that me being upset made my nerves go away, so I guess that was okay. But I definitely didn't want to do my first show pissed off. But soon after that, it was about 7:05. My friend texted me, and she said she was there, and so I wasn't upset anymore. That was a relief. But then it was right back to nerves. So my turn on stage comes up, and I'm going through my bit, and what I'm realizing is my bit is taking too much. It's too much setup. I'm having too much setup. The audience is waiting for me to be funny, essentially. So I learned to kind of hit them early with a joke, make them laugh early, so that they continue to stay engaged. They stay interested. You keep their attention. Because unless you have a bomb of a payoff, you're gonna want to try to keep their attention the whole time. Because if you might lose some of your audience to when your payoff comes more towards the middle, maybe the end of your bit, they might not have been paying attention and they might not get the payoff. So keep them involved, keep their attention. That's one lesson I learned from that show. And it went all right. I got a few laughs and everything like that. I tell you what, it was exhilarating coming off the stage after that. It was just my heart was pounding, my adrenaline was through the roof. It was a lot of fun. So I decided I want to try it again. I'm gonna do another show. This one is about a month after my first one, and it was down at Tempe Improv. It was a show called The New Faces of Comedy. There's another open mic, another 5 minutes. This was my best bit so far, my best set so far, actually. The video is on my Facebook. It's also on the Cool Glass of Water Facebook page, and it's got over 3,500 views right now. That is incredible to me. Overwhelming amount of support from this bit, and it's what motivates me to keep on going, to continue to do this. But I learned a lot from this set. This one was my set about condoms, and the true story behind this one is I was kind of seeing a girl for a little bit, and we had gotten to the point where we were gonna, hook up, and she comes over to the house, and we're doing stuff, and she pulls out a condom, but it's not just a regular condom. She pulled out, it was a Magnum condom. Like, I'm like, well, I don't know what you want me to do with that, because this isn't that. I don't have that going on. And I'm thinking, like, this is where you start? Like, that's, like, if you're not this, that's what I said in the bit. If you're not this, get the fuck out. That's basically what she's saying to me. But yeah, so, and I didn't see her for a while after that. Actually, ever after that. But this set is where I got my first big laugh and my first kind of ovation for a joke. People were clapping, and it was when I told her that I hadn't brought a condom, and how women appreciate if you're honest with them, and then you're probably good to go anyway after that. But this is not where I expected the big laugh, because as you're writing. And I got this technique from one of my mentors. His name is K. Francis Norris. He's another comic out in Northwest Indiana doing his thing in the Chicagoland area. And I send him some of my stuff, and he sends me some really good feedback, and I take a lot of his advice, and he's really helped me become, I don't want to say a good comic, but a better comic, because he gave me a technique to where I should highlight or bold where I'm wanting the big laugh when I'm writing. And this joke, it definitely did have a highlight. I was expecting a laugh there, but not one this big. So, and it actually stopped the joke progression. So I had to let the audience finish their laugh. If you watch the video, you'll see that I put the mic back up to my mouth to start the next part of the bit, but everyone's still laughing, then they start clapping, and I have to drop the mic down in my chest. Now, I tell you what, it felt great. That's the best feeling that I've won. I can't describe it. It's just the best feeling I've ever had. But I'm thinking, like, they're laughing for a pretty long time, and I'm thinking, I've only got 5 minutes up here. I need to finish this. I need you to shut the fuck up, And but my lesson learned there was to try to account for the time for audience laughter, because they might really like your joke, and you gotta let them do it, because if that next bit is important to another joke, the next part of that bit, if it's important to another joke, then you gotta let them hear it so that they can get the next part of the bit. But I also actually, on this bit, I forgot a punchline to a joke. I had paused, the audience was sensing it, and they were laughing about it, or at it, I'm not sure, but I had to skip a punchline because I just blanked it. And the reason was, and here's what I feel like the reason was. I'm not going to say it is, because I'm not, like I said, I'm not an expert, but I feel like it's because I changed that punchline about a half hour before the show. And it wasn't even much. It was a subtle, tiny change. It was basically the same joke, just a tiny little change, but apparently it was enough to throw me off. So what I learned there was you got to stick to what you rehearsed, because if you, at least for me, if I try to change it at the last minute, apparently it's going to throw me off. So yeah, that's what I learned from there. And then and I had one more show after that. This one was about 2 weeks after my second show, and this one I bombed it. It was back at the Comedy Spot in Scottsdale. Leading up to the show, I was writing and rewriting and overcomplicating the bit. And the closer to the show that it got, the less confident I was in the bit. And the bit was about high school and how there's pointless classes, and pointless things we learned, like dissecting a frog, PEMDAS, that freaking math shit that, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, that we never used after high school, but for some reason that was like the most important thing we fucking learned. And then I went forward into how it feels like when you're sitting in class and you're kind of taking notes, listening to the teacher, and then you kind of notice that the teacher seems to be staring at you. Like, even when they'll look to the board and then they'll look back and it's just right at you. It's like you're like, what the fuck is going on? So I made and then I switched the perspective to an audience member, because as I was doing the staring teacher bit, I was staring at one audience member, and it was a female audience member, and then I changed the perspective to where I was her, listening to me do the bit and what was going on in her mind during it. So the day of the show, I'm trying to do some real quick rehearsing, and I cannot memorize this bit, and it's freaking me out. I was like, I don't even want to go on. I don't even want to go. I'm about to tell everybody that I invited. I'm not. I can't make it, and I'm continuing to lose confidence in this bit. So I had probably, 8 people come out to my show that night. And I was just so nervous because I wasn't confident in the bit. And then, of course, when we're in the green room, my name gets picked first. So I have to go on stage. I have to open the show for the comics. And there's another 12, which just nerve boost tenfold for that one. And then, so I get called on stage. And it starts off okay. I'm going through the bit fine. But where I lost my train of thought and I drew a blank was during the audience member interaction part. And I feel like that's like the worst part of a bit, that you could forget your material, because you're engaging with an audience member, and they like that. Audience members like getting engaged with, but if they're sitting there and you're staring at them, you're just looking at them trying to remember your bit, and they're just like, why is this dude just staring at me right now? It makes the audience member feel uncomfortable. I look like a fucking idiot, and I just froze. I froze and kind of had to collect my thoughts, and all I'm thinking about is that I'm freezing. I can't think about like what's the next part of my bit. All I'm thinking is like, I'm fucking this up. So I finally remember where I was supposed to try to go, force myself through the rest of the bit, struggle the rest of the way, and a video was taken. I had asked for a video taken, and to this day I still haven't watched that video. I haven't watched that bit. I'm afraid to watch it. I'm afraid that if I see it, that I won't go back on stage. But a couple of my friends watched it, and they're telling me that it's not as bad as I made it out to be. They say I'm putting too much pressure on myself, which is probably true, because what I learned from that bit, and when I look back in retrospect, not at the video but just at my memories of it, is I need to be confident in my material. I need to feel like I need to think this material is about to kill this show, because then you're going to have fun doing it. And don't try to top your last bit. My second show was a hit. I don't want to say it was a great show. It was a good show. I felt good about it, and I just wanted to improve from there and build from there. But in that mindset, putting a lot of pressure on yourself. And then just realize you're not on the stage to be a good comedian. You're on the stage. Your job is to make people laugh. And then you're supposed to have fun with that. And that's the most important part. You got to have fun with what you're doing. If you're not having fun with what you're doing, stop fucking doing it. So yeah, so those are the 3 shows that I've done so far. I've got a couple more coming up. One is on February 22nd at 10 p.m. Improv again. It's going to be about Facebook birthdays and then the differences between guy friendships and girl friendships. So come check me out over there. I also have another show coming March 7th at Brigitte's Last Laugh. It's a little bar, really, really kind of a quaint comedy night. They have a weekly show over there. It's on Tuesdays, and I believe it starts at 7 p.m. So go over there, check it out. It's kind of a cool little joint. Yeah, it's not bad. So I'm on some social media outlets right now. My SoundCloud is soundcloud.com/acoolglassofwater. My Facebook page is facebook.com/acoolglassofwater podcast. And then also hit me up on my email. It's acoolglassofwaterpodcast@gmail.com. So that's what I got for this show. The first episode, the inaugural episode. It's finished. This was fun. I built this studio. I don't know. I posted a video on the Facebook page. I made this studio. I bought this desk, this chair, brought this raggedy old couch in here. This was fun to do. This desk was a motherfucker to put together, though, I'll tell you. But yeah, so closing out the show, we're gonna bring back Trell Dope again. He's at soundcloud.com/Trell Dope. I love this beat, man. He did an awesome job with this beat. Listen for that little subtle, that faint bass line that kind of plays throughout the song, and then that subtle piano that seems to kind of hold the beat together just right. I don't really know what the fuck I'm talking about. I hope that it sounds like I do, but that's just how I describe why I like it. So check it out. This is Trell Dope with Mia Wallace, and I hope you enjoyed your very first sip of a cool glass of water.
Waking up to the sweetest smell. A quarter pound of this will cost you 12. Only loud when we on the scale. Burning gas, that's premium up in my L. In the clouds is where my mind dwell. I sit calm like Seinfeld. Well, I make it, only time tells. Cause one step could blow me up like minefields. Shit get real when I roll up the dope. I take a pull and get lost in the smoke. The shit I'm rolling have a nigga coasting. My eyes closed, but they really open. But you niggas smoking. Yo. Rolling up another one while puffing the scummy skunk. Trees got us in the gym. Oh man, we all stuck. Usually with a shy girl, sacking all starstruck. But I'm with my weekend chick. She just wanna have fun. I know she get the tweaking when she keep a pill on her tongue. Something like the Oracle, she calling me the only one. But I'm focused on the money, swear they owe me some. I just wanna reach the top, so I ain't the only one. Know this world don't owe us. If you want it, go and get you some. All I do is smoke and plot. Every plan I got to drop. My ambitions as a rider, swear I'm bumping park. Tell my homies play it cool, strike it when the iron sight. I keep a pretty bitch, don't matter if she smoke or not. I like a classy broad, I don't really fuck with that. She like my style, low cuts with high socks. A young boss need a chick like Mia Wallace that got her own wallet, so she ain't in my pockets. All that crying, baby girl, just stop it. I kick you off the high horse for thinking you the hot shit. Bragging about how these other chicks not shit. I tell her keep it cool, I ain't really with the gossip. Early 20-something caught up in this nonsense. Soft as an angel and she fine as a goddess. Always talking about Kim and Beyonce. Guess she wanna be the Mrs. Jay-Z or Kanye. I'm committed to the money, no fiance. Stay down, baby, we can do it grind day. I give you time to get your mind right. So in the meantime, I'ma catch a flight.